My name's Emery and I work on a yacht. The yacht that I work on has a 32-foot center console that we travel with, and this is how we set it up to tow with us. We have a tender that we travel with that allows us to take guests snorkeling, tubing, go on island exploration missions, or just a quick run into port. Our main method of dropping the tender back to tow is from the hip. So to set up, we pull out our tow line. This line has a big type of snap shackle that hooks onto a line on the tender. The gray line that you see is called the hawser, which is made of Spectra. This line is 5 times stronger than steel, which is so wild to think about because it's soft, flexible, and looks nothing like something that would be stronger than steel. This Spectra line is then attached to the bridle, which is made of nylon. This allows the towing line to stretch, which helps with shock absorption. When you're towing and in rough seas or the tender's getting thrown around by swell, the sudden jolts and impacts that happen are absorbed by the nylon line stretch. The bridle line is much heavier, thicker, and less flexible than the Spectra line. We also use nylon lines for docking, but that's for a separate video. Once the shackle is hooked onto the tender, the mate then starts taking off the spring line and bow line that holds the tender onto the big boat. While he takes that off, I hold the stern line until he's ready to jump back on the yacht. Honestly, this method isn't always possible in certain swell, but here it's common enough to do so. Once the mate is back on the yacht, he slowly releases the Spectra line out. There have been some really scary moments with towing procedures throughout my times of working on yachts, because if you aren't dialed in with this procedure, a lot can go wrong. The mate tugs back and forth with the tender to keep the bow forward, so when it comes into full tow, it doesn't get whipped around. After a couple of hours, we've reached our destination. We now have to retrieve the tender. The mate and I start pulling in each side of the bridle while the captain puts the yacht into reverse. This part is tricky because you don't want to pull the tender in too fast or else you won't be able to stop it and it could crash into the swim platform or worse, hurt the crew. So we're constantly communicating with the captain the type of maneuvers we need from him. Once the tender gets close, I grab our small fender for protection and grab a hold of the anchor to hold it in place while the mate disconnects the tow line from the tender painter line. He then jumps on the tender, fires up the engines, and pulls off. He preps the tender to dock it back onto the hip of the yacht while I put the tow line away and go up on the bow to prep the anchor for drop. There is a lot that goes into this operation, and I hope you enjoyed watching each step. Thanks for watching.